Have you ever truly considered that your height, the very way you stand in the world, might hold deeper meaning than you've ever imagined, not in the way society typically sees it, not in terms of attractiveness, dominance, or fitting into a mold, but in a far more ancient, symbolic, and psychological way? To Carl Jung, one of the most profound voices in depth psychology, the human body was not just flesh and bone. It was a living symbol, a manifestation of archetypal forces, a reflection of something hidden, something deeper, your soul's blueprint, and in that light, even your height, how tall or short you are, is not just a physical attribute, it's a silent language, a signal from the unconscious, a doorway to inner understanding. You might be wondering how something as ordinary as your height could carry that much weight. How could it possibly influence your inner world? But that's precisely what we overlook. Jung taught that the psyche doesn't separate body from soul. The two mirror each other. The way we move, how we take up space, how we carry ourselves, all of it is filled with meaning. In this journey, I want you to walk with me into that meaning, not to judge or label, but to uncover, to understand the quiet power of what your body might be telling you. Because when you begin to read the body through the symbolic lens, you don't just see yourself differently, you feel yourself differently. You begin to understand the energies you're carrying, the patterns you've unconsciously repeated, and perhaps, for the first time, you see that even your height is part of your soul's message to the world. Carl Jung believed we each embody archetypes, universal forces that shape how we relate, act, and grow. They exist within every myth, every dream, every instinct we can't quite explain, and our physical presence. That's often the first place these archetypes appear: the tall oak, the grounded root, the slender reed, the climbing vine. All of nature reflects psychological energies, and we, as part of nature, are no different. So what if the height you've always accepted as just how you were born is actually the canvas for something more, a deeper story, one that's been unfolding all along? Imagine someone who stands above others in physical stature. There's a reason such a person often becomes a focal point in a room. Their presence is undeniable, but it's not just about visibility. It's about energetic weight. This individual may unconsciously embody the archetype of the guardian. They bring with them the air of responsibility, stability, and watchfulness. People may look to them for guidance without even knowing why. They may be assumed to be strong, reliable, and able to carry the burdens others fear. And while this brings power, it also brings pressure. The guardian archetype is noble, but it's heavy. It can become a lonely place when others only see your stature, not your softness, not your complexity. There's a subtle danger here. The tall may begin to believe they must always be above, always in control, always unshakable. But the truth is every guardian has an inner child too. One who longs to rest, to let go of the role, to simply be seen for who they are, not for the expectations their body projects. And then there are those who walk with less height, closer to the ground. The world may not always stop to stare, but these individuals carry a different kind of power, one that's often underestimated. This is the archetype of the rooted sage, the quiet perceiver, the one who feels the shifts in emotional currents before a word is spoken. Shorter individuals often develop an exquisite sensitivity. They've learned to navigate a world that may overlook them by becoming astute observers, internal anchors. Their presence may not shout, but it echoes in the soul of those who truly listen. They don't command attention, they draw it inward, but there's a shadow here too. Sometimes these individuals carry an internal story of needing to prove themselves, of pushing harder to be heard, to be taken seriously. Yet the very gift they hold is in their depth, their calm, their ability to transform chaos into insight with nothing more than a few carefully chosen words. Then, in between, we find those of average height, the messengers, the integrators. These individuals often dance between worlds, not too visible, not too hidden. They can adapt, blend, shift. They hold the unique power of translation between people, between perspectives, between inner and outer worlds. Their challenge is subtle, to not lose themselves in others, to remember that being balanced does not mean being invisible, that standing in the middle is not the absence of power, it's a bridge between extremes. You see, height isn't a hierarchy, it's an expression, an orientation, a language your soul speaks through form. The tall are not better, the short are not less, the average are not neutral. Each stature holds its own current of energy, its own psychological invitation. The tall are invited to remember softness, to lead without hardening, to hold without being held captive by duty. The short are invited to own their insight, to influence not by volume, but by vision, to trust their depth as their greatest strength. The average are invited to embrace their role as connectors, to honor their ability to see all sides without losing their own center. Jung never saw the human being as random. He believed in meaning behind everything, the dreams we dream, the wounds we carry, the faces we wear, and yes, even the form we inhabit. Your body, including your height, is not just what you are, it's part of your becoming. This doesn't mean you're limited by it. Quite the opposite. It means your form is part of your symbolic path, a myth unfolding, a message written in bone and breath. So the next time you catch your reflection, pause, not to judge, not to compare, but to listen, to feel what your body is expressing beyond words. Do you carry the stillness of a mountain or the swiftness of the stream? Do you walk with the pressure of being seen or the ache of being overlooked? Do you flow between roles, translating energies others don't even notice? Whatever your height is, it holds truth, not about who you should be, but about what lives within you, your instincts, your shadow. Your light. This is not about categories, it's about consciousness, because once you understand the symbolism of your own form, you stop being at war with it. You stop wishing you were someone else's height, someone else's presence, someone else's pattern. And instead, you begin to live your own. Jung taught that individuation, the process of becoming your truest self, requires looking inward, not outward. It's about discovering the hidden symbols within your everyday reality, even the shape you've carried your whole life. So maybe it's time to stop seeing your height as a static fact and start seeing it as a story, a path, a presence, tall, short, average. Each is a myth in motion. And if you're willing to go deeper, you might discover that your stature isn't just how the world sees you. It's how your soul is learning to see itself. Let that sink in. You are not just a body moving through space. You are a symbol, unfolding, and your height, it's not just how tall you are. It's how deep you're meant to go. Now take a breath and begin to walk in your story, awake, aware, and finally, alive.